The Hangout is live on air.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, welcome everyone. I think we have 0 viewers, so it's hello world. So we have our setup today on Google Hangout. We've got questions that we can see. So as you're watching, or if anyone is watching, you can ask questions, and we'll be able to see them as we go along. So welcome to this Nordic Fab Labs open meeting and European Maker Week kickoff. So first of all, about European Maker Week, that's happening right now. First day is today. So European Maker Week is running this entire week and over the weekend, and it's an event co-organized by Startup Europe, the European Commission, Think Young, and also Maker Faire Rome, with the idea that through this Maker Week and this series of events, will increase the visibility of makers, inventors, entrepreneurs who are using kind of cutting-edge digital fabrication tools to get their ideas made. So that's the thought behind European Maker Week. And as part of that, at the same time as increasing the visibility of these people, it's hoped that we can inspire and empower more young people to excel in design and STEM as well. So those are the aims of European Maker Week. Now, there are around 500 events across Europe happening this week, which is pretty amazing. They popped up pretty quickly in the end. I'm not sure if I can share a screen. Perhaps I can do just that and get the right one. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So hopefully everyone can see my screen. And let's have a look. This is the European Maker Week map. It's almost as busy as the Fab Lab map as well. So really kicking off in Italy, of course, and mainland Europe. But we've got a pretty strong number of events taking place in the Nordics as well. So that's really encouraging. I just put back to here. Okay, I'm back again. So we've, as the Nordic network, we've kind of taken up the idea of European Maker Week and using it really to, on our own agenda, to also, at the same time as increasing the wider visibility of makers and innovators and so on, is also to increase the visibility of our Nordic Fab Labs network. So so that's the idea, and we've got 3 events, 3 main events, and there's some others coming up. So if we move to item 2 in the agenda, so the first event is what's happening right now. Our Nordic Fab Labs open meeting, so anyone can join and hear what's going on, and European Maker Week kickoff. And then on Wednesday we have a screening across Nordic Fab Labs at the same time, synchronized screening of a fantastic Fab Lab documentary, Making Living Sharing, which was made by Jens Duvik in Oslo. Unfortunately, he couldn't join to tell us more about that, but he will be joining on Wednesday for Q&A after the screening as well. And then, Yanni, perhaps you want to speak about Design Process for All, which is happening on Thursday.
Yeah, so Thursday, 5 p.m. UTC+3, we will be broadcasting Design Process for All workshop. led by Mikko Pyykkönen. His background is in industrial designing, and he knows all the methods how to control or how to make a design process productive. So he has tips and tricks how to get from the distant idea to the phase that you can actually start prototyping. So that's the main idea, to make the threshold as low as possible to get started.
Great stuff. And it's going to be streamed live online?
Yeah, it will be screened through Adobe Connect Pro. So you need a Flash plugin on your web browser.
Okay. Super.
And I will share the link. I think I already shared it with Nordic Fab Labs, and I will share it anywhere again.
Great. So anyone can join and watch along. Is it possible to ask questions as the audience as well?
Yes. Perfect. So there's a chat in this Connect Pro, and we can see the questions as long as we are not too busy locally. So we remember to check them.
Yeah, I'm just trying to experience that right now, trying to look at about 5 different windows here to check, and no one's trying to talk to me and ask to be asked some questions. So I think we're all okay. Excellent, thank you for that. And then on Thursday as well, which is actually 1 hour earlier, so 5 o'clock UTC +2 in Malmo. Fab Lab Fabriken is hosting an event called Let's Talk About Make. Now Zena has added that. She's going to join us, but not until a little bit later. So I was hoping she would be here, but I'm just having a quick look through. The description is a relaxed and fun talk about ideas, prototypes, projects, and sharing the general joy of making things. So it sounds like a very open Fab Lab and open knowledge oriented event. So that's happening in Malmo. Perhaps when Zena manages to join, we will hear a little bit more about that. So as part of this week, we discussed amongst the Nordic Fab Labs that we would have a few projects to develop between us and have a bit of a show and tell of what we've been up to during European Maker Week. So that's happening then on Friday, again 5 o'clock UTC. I guess we'll do it in a very similar way to what we're doing today. And there'll be a bit of a show and tell and demo of what's been made. Now those projects, we can talk about what they might be. But I think the idea was that some inspiration would be taken from Jens's documentary, Making Living Sharing, and some of those projects could be extended and developed and remixed. I would also like to propose quite a straightforward project that I made for Fab Academy, actually, making a laser engraved skateboard deck. It's fairly straightforward, great fun. I'm not sure if I'm very well practiced in skateboarding to say if the board is any good or not, but I use it every day to go up and down the corridor to get my cup of coffee and come back to the lab. So that could be a project as well, a bit of fun. Doesn't take too long to do. So I'll propose that one as well. Thornton in Iceland, Ísafjörður, did you have one more event you wanted to mention?
Yes, sure. So we have like one event and one workshop. Now the event then is on Thursday. It's just like a project exhibition, and we're just going to collect projects throughout the area that happen in the working. And there's going to be 3 stages. There's going to be finished projects, there's gonna be like in-process projects, and there's gonna be like also just projects that are just only in our heads right now. And we want to do that because we want to bring people together in the area to talk about projects, ideas, and just like projects that are in the process and projects that have been done, and try to see if we like can work something out. And it's gonna be like projects that have been done here in the high school or in the elementary school, and also just general projects here that are happening in the community hours, and also some projects that have been happening in our job development programs. And then the workshop that we're gonna have, I'm gonna introduce James here, and he's gonna tell you a little bit about that workshops that he is hosting.
Okay. What time is your event on Thursday, Thornton?
It's at 5 p.m. GMT, 5 o'clock. Yeah.
Right.
All right, James, you can.
Right. So, hi, I'm James. I come from Scotland as well as England. I grew up in England as well. Hi. Yeah, I don't know where. And I'm doing a workshop. I'm just reading the times because I forget things really badly. But it's Thursday, the 2nd of May, 1800 hours to 20 o'clock, and Friday, 3rd of May, 8 o'clock to 10 p.m. And it's and I'm doing 3D graphics, 3D printing for art and design projects. So I'm an artist and designer, and I'm really interested in using Fab Labs for creative projects. So in my artwork, I do a lot of futuristic work. I'm interested in science fiction and movies, and also I do a lot of traditional work like drawing. So I'm really interested in using Fab Labs to mix the two together, and I want to show people how to make 3D models in 3D graphics programs, or even modeling in plasticine or card, and then get them as 3D prints. And how simple that can be, how we can use free programs such as Blender or Tinkercad, or more expensive programs like 3ds Max, which I've got on my computer, which I can show people. So it should be a lot of fun, and people can basically have an idea for a model they want to make, and then make it up, and then get it printed immediately, which is amazing, isn't it? That we can now just make a model and get it in our hands just like that. Yeah. So that's basically it. So please come if you're around, Isafiora.
Great stuff. This is quite a recurring theme that I've heard a few times, because Aalto Fab Lab is in close proximity to the University of Aalto's art and design department. So we're often hosting workshops as well, which are aiming to be this transition between or some kind of connection between digital fabrication and traditional art and sculpting with hands and so on.
Sure.
So I think you'll have a lot of fun with that, and some really interesting projects will come out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I might suggest as well, when I've done these kind of things before, 123D make has been a very popular thing to go quickly from a 3D model into something.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. Cool. Like this here. That's made by Linda in Fab Lab Reykjavik. Is it a Minion? I don't know the film. I think it's Minions. Is it Despicable Me?
Unfortunately, I'm not wearing my Minion socks today, but I could show you my Minion socks.
I'm gonna have to watch the film. I've never watched it before.
That's really cool. Little cardboard Minion.
Takes a long time, but that's great.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Great stuff. Thank you, James.
No problem.
Torin, if you're able to check back on the minutes and just edit the times there to make sure they're correct. I think I might have muddled those a little bit, but I think I've mostly got the notes down.
Sure.
So I think we were going to have a kind of quick chat with Frosty, if he was going to join, about the aims of the Nordic Fab Labs and where we are now, where we're going to go. Unfortunately, Frosty couldn't join. So I think a nice thing to do would be to kind of check in with everyone who's here, and just say hello and what you're up to and what's coming up in your lab. Maybe Yanni, I'd be really interested to hear. Now, is it 6 months or 7 months on from the opening of your lab? How is it all going?
Yeah, it's a bit over half year, and it's going amazingly well. I have had over 100 teachers visiting Fab Lab Oulu, and we started a Facebook group, Fab Lab in elementary schools, and I had local teachers coming to my lab with their equipment, and we unboxed and set them up together, so it was easy start for them, and they are getting first equipments to the schools. And also Ministry of Education in Finland has noticed Fab Labs in their website in the part of future community learning environments, and in technical and crafts and arts and that kind of teaching. So it's really hot right now, and it's going really well. And we've been a lot of in media, any kind. I mean, I've been interviewed to Russia, 2 million viewers, and ambassador of Belarus is visiting me next Friday, and well, those are kind of highlights, I think.
Yeah, great.
And a lot of customers, and a lot of good projects, good collaboration with the university. So we have a new university course called 3D modeling and prototyping, and it includes 3D modeling, mechanics, electronics, and programming in one course. So it's done thoroughly in Fab Lab, and I had a few of those lectures. That was a concert in designing. Sorry, am I going over time?
No problem. I think we've got.
Okay, good.
So a few more labs, so we've got plenty of time to hear. It's good.
Okay, so we got the course is going until the end of this month, but we already got some results. So you saw that one cool alarm clock with parallel wheels. I showed you it was done on that course. So it will, when it's time to wake you up, it will start running. It runs until it bumps to the wall, and then it starts beeping. And you have to find it and then shake it to shut it up. And
that's a great project. I might need one of those myself.
And also students made a cool robot. It's modeled like a manipulator in like an industrial robot, but a small one, and you can steer it from your smartphone over Bluetooth, and it can grab things. It notices when it's grabbed, and you have a picture in your group, phone of that robot, and you just turn it where you want it, and stuff like that. And we made that router because we didn't yet buy one. For Fab Academy, we need that, so we've been calibrating and testing it lately because finally we got some time, and we were able to, just today we were first time able to cut 12mm birch plywood really nicely, perfect parts.
Fantastic. So that's
everything's going really well. Sorry?
Was it a completely self-made or?
Yeah, it's even completely self-designed. I mean, the mechanics. I mean, my colleague drew it pretty much over the night, and we 3D printed most of the parts, and so far it's been fairly huge success. I will share the design, and that robot is actually already in fablabs.io. I haven't checked it myself, but it's there, and it's free to use.
Fantastic. That's really something. If you've managed to set up a lab and build some of your own tools all at the same time. Yeah. About the media attention and so on, I find it really quite amazing just how many connections Fab Labs seem to make internationally. Certainly within universities, they seem to be a kind of a hub or a point of interest for many visitors to first make contact, I've found, and then perhaps also other parts of the university after that. But that's really encouraging to hear. Great work. Keep it up.
Thanks.
Yes. Isafjorda, as you're the only remaining people with a microphone.
Yeah, sure. Maybe we can, like, I'm thinking where to start.
Who's with you today, apart from, we've met James?
So you met James. So I'm Thornton, I'm the lab manager here. I've been doing this job now for 2 years, and I have a background in electronics. And way before I was doing electronics and this maker movement was coming up, I was very fascinated in joining that and bringing in my skills and learn a lot of other skills as well. The people who are now in the lab actually just saw the posters in town, so I haven't met them before, so I will just ask them to introduce themselves, and I will know who they are in the meantime. So, hello.
Yes, please do.
Hi. Shall I come a little closer?
Yeah.
Hi there, I'm Jan from Holland, and just visiting here in Isafjordur by boat. And indeed, we saw the posters in the swimming pool, and well, we're quite interested in the whole making thing, and well, not really into it right now, but well, general interest. That's why we're here.
Fantastic. And where in Holland are you from?
We're from Enkhuizen, in the 60 kilometers above Amsterdam. And okay. We're on a sailing boat right now here in Isafjordur, and well, passing in and out of this town. And we visited the Fab Lab once before, while there was a class here, young kids, and well, perfect place here. Really, really, really great place.
Fantastic. And so you've sailed all of the way to Isafjordur from Holland?
Yes, we did. Yes. Not from Holland this time, but we came from Canada last year. And the boat was here last winter. And we were back in Holland working. And now it's the summertime, time for play.
Great stuff. Yeah. Very cool. Perhaps you might need some spare parts for the boat. Or...
Yeah, well, we're always making things on board, and it's all done by hand. But these 3D printers and routers and all this stuff is fascinating. Really fascinating. Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, thanks so much for joining our meeting.
Yeah, it's working actually. So the lab is positioned in the high school, but it's really good. So it's very open to the public. So we have this happening all the time, that people drop by from abroad or just local people, and we have a nice talk. And there's also here is one of our younger users. He's really busy now in the computer drawing.
Have you done a print? Is it finished?
Viltu koma aðeins og spjalla við okkur þetta? Viltu sína hvað þú ert að gera? Tala við fólkið hérna? Yes. He's checking out the 3D printer. So he's in 4th grade, and he actually came here for the first time last week. And he also has brought his friend, and now they are multiplying, which is really good. And one of them came here with a DC motor last week, and he left with a small DC powered both motors. So that's nice because like the DC motor he brought was from a broken drone that he got, and he like asked what he could do with it, and we made a boat.
That's
so
great.
And I don't know, do you want, should I talk a little bit general like of our programs and the labs in Iceland? Or?
Please do. I know Iceland has probably out of all of the Nordic countries, it has the biggest Fab Lab presence. So
yeah. So
what's
we
the
have
secret of your success?
It's not a secret for the first place. I'll happily talk about how we are doing things, and why but I have a little bit maybe hard time understanding it. I think one thing is like most of the labs, or all of the labs, are in collaboration with the high schools, and everyone except Fab Lab Reykjavík is positioned in the high school. So that's very practical because we're close to the high school, and we have like these three main programs. So we have the educational programs, the business development program, and the community programs. The educational program is the one that has really blown up and is really big. So we are working with universities, high schools, elementary schools, and we are also very open to see what we can do with kindergartens. And yeah, so I think that's one thing that is good because it's a position of the labs. The other thing is like, which is the most important thing, is the networking. And we meet each week. We meet once to just synchronize, talk about problems or common projects that we can do together. Because even though labs are many, we are like one employee at each location. So the team is, you know, it's hard to do things alone, especially like running a lab. But when you can meet a team where like a 6-person team can do a whole lot more. And right now we're in the stage where we're starting to really want to do more with the Nordic Fab Labs. And of course we want to do more with a global network. And I think that's the most valuable thing here is the networking, because you know, the tools are becoming that cheap that you can get them at home and you can get it at schools, and people say, well, why don't we just have it here and there? But it's the networking that comes first, and like here it's about like people, then projects, then the machines, you know.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with that last statement.
Yeah.
Like make, learn, and share. I think that's the important thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Precisely.
And we've been on operation here since 2012, but the first lab was founded in Westman Air, which Frosty is running, and that was back in 2007. So yeah, that's the state of the Icelandic network.
What would be your number one target or aim to achieve with the Nordic network?
Mainly like connecting, you know, and being aware that all over, like not only in the Nordic countries, but all over the world, there are people that enjoy making stuff, you know. And I think it's an excellent like tool to find common grounds, because it's very nice when you are connected through the MCU and you see people all over the world who, you know, they might not speak the same language as you, but there's something that you have in common with them, that they can, you know, smile, they can show you the projects. And when you have kids here in Ísafjörður in the lab waving to people, you know, in China or America or Australia or wherever, you know, you can really see that, you know, people, they all, you know, enjoy smiling and making stuff, you know. So
excellent. Yeah, I think we started off quite nicely at the beginning of this year and the end of last year with our monthly meetings. Today was kind of a bit of an effort as well to kind of get the momentum back with these monthly meetings between the Nordic network. So hopefully we can keep that going, keep the connection going. James, I'd be interested to hear how did you end up in Easterfield?
Well, I was in a bit earlier than last year. I was in Canada, so I was in Montreal, and I got an art residency there in a Fab Lab. So I've always been interested in technology, but that was the first time I really got to experience it in full. And then I came back to the UK about May last year, and then I did some stuff in Fab Lab London. So I made a big map on the wall and did stuff there. So that got me really interested in Fab Lab, how I can use what I do in my work and combine it, and also do my workshops to teach others. So then I was in Scotland, and Scotland, I don't know if you know, only has about 2 or 3 Fab Labs. So it's really good. They have the Mac Lab, which is, and they're developing new labs around the place, but it's not so much as, say, Iceland. So I looked on the map and I thought, wow, Iceland's got a lot of Fab Labs. And I had a friend he said he was really interested in Iceland, and I just thought I'll give them an email and just to see what it's like. And then Linda from Reykjavik, she's the manager in Reykjavik, and she passed an email around, and then Thornton said I was welcome to come up here and do some voluntary work and also develop my own projects. And I also did an art residency here, so the whole thing coming here is to develop a project. I'm trying to make a commercial project here to see how it will work in a fairly isolated area like here, and how I can perhaps make that commercial globally, so there's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So that's basically my interest in coming up to Iceland, is to do a commercial project in a relatively isolated area and see how it will fly, when it's complete. Yeah. So and it's great. It's great to come up here and help, and then do some workshops as well and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah.
Great stuff. And you picked the perfect time of year to go to Iceland.
Yeah, I didn't see the Northern Lights though, so I missed that by about 2 weeks. But it's lovely, yeah, it's beautiful up there. It's really nice, yeah.
Great stuff. We have been talking about Nordic Fab Labs exchange program, and actually a regular user of Aalto Fab Lab is actually going for an internship in Roskilde this summer. So she's going to be helping out in the Fab Lab there, and I believe they're at a number of music festivals and events through the summer. So she's going to be very, very busy helping them prepare for these events.
Cool.
So hopefully we can kind of start to also build up this within the network exchange of people and ideas. So if you happen to be over in Finland, you're very welcome to come and say hello in Helsinki, or up in Oulu. I'm sure Yanni will be happy to see you as well.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I'd love to. I mean, I see all these networks in the Fab Labs, and it's just an amazing thought to go around all the different Fab Labs and do projects. They've got stuff, in Africa and loads of different countries, and then, South America. It's amazing to see all the networks and how. And what I find interesting is if you're making something commercial, you can go anywhere in the world and fabricate it. You don't have to ship it, So you're making it in the UK, like in the Industrial Revolution, where you had to, transport it from Liverpool or wherever. But now, you can go to New York. So say if you've got a client in New York, and go there and make something there or whatever, and make a prototype wherever in the world you are. So I think that's amazing. The network is awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool. I think you'll be very interested to see Jens's documentary on Wednesday, the Making Living Sharing documentary.
I have to see that, yeah. Look forward to it, yeah.
All right. I suppose I should also mention who I am, probably.
Yeah.
So
I'm very interested.
That would be good.
Who is this guy? He's just an imposter. So I'm Charlie, and I'm running the Fab Lab in Helsinki at the moment, Aalto Fab Lab. So as I was saying, that's connected to Aalto University, and it's located on the same campus as the arts and design department. So there's a kind of strong influence towards art and design, and we have a lot of industrial designers and then furniture designers, architecture students, fashion designers. That's been really big this year. Lots of work with textiles and fashion. So we get an amazing mix of projects in the lab. We're also this year we've struggled a little bit with the number of staff. So it's actually only been me in the lab, and so we haven't had as much public open sessions as we would like to, but we've tried to host at least monthly public open meetings, so people can come along and hear about the interesting projects that have been happening. We usually have 3 or 4 people kind of pitching or presenting what they've been up to. So that's been a really nice model to try and build up the community. As Thornton was saying, the community and the networking aspect is really that is what separates the Fab Lab from being just a workshop with tools, in my opinion. So yeah, at the moment, basically the school year, the university school year is drawing to an end. So the last few weeks have been like all the students panicking to try and get their projects finished. So I've been very busy running lots of CNC work and helping people run the laser cutters and 3D printers. I'm also taking the Fab Academy at the moment. I'm a bit behind, but managed to get some electronics working this morning. So that was a big plus for me, a big achievement. I can code, but I'm not so much familiar with prototyping electronics, so this has been really great. So yeah, that's really what I'm up to. My background is in building engineering, so I'm used to designing big things that are going to last hundreds of years, hopefully. So it's interesting to kind of change perspective. It all comes back to design in the end, but change perspective to kind of smaller scale objects as well, and focusing on details and the whole product from idea through to making it and iterating. That's been really interesting for me. So yeah, and coming up, I think I'll announce this at the end, but we've got a nice visit from Paul Sohi from Autodesk coming up. I'll tell more about that later. But in short, we've been using Autodesk Fusion 360 a lot in the lab. I've been using it 2-3 times a day for different CNC projects in the lab over the last month. So I've really got into it. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But I can see we have a new guest, Senna.
I also see, Charlie, in the chat window, there's some announcement there we might want to read.
Which chat window are you
the Google Hangouts chat window, I believe.
No, at the top right. No.
So there's 2 chat windows actually. It's a little bit confusing. There's the one that is here on Google Hangouts, and there's the other one.
The other one.
Okay, I can only see blank pages, so you'll have to enlighten me on that one.
I can also read it up. It's from Pille in Norway, in Bergen. And she's basically talking about this meetup on the 4th of June with 6 people demonstrating they've made and others showing off their creations. We will have videos and a lot of stuff going on.
Okay.
So, yeah, I actually probably should have read this first before reading this now. But yeah, 4th of June, there's stuff going on in Bergen, and you can like probably look it up on the European Maker Week site.
Okay, that's fun to add into the notes. Great stuff. So, Senna, I kind of introduced your event for you, but I think you can do a much nicer job. So yeah, over to you.
Can I hear your recap of it?
Sorry?
Yeah, we hear you good.
Yeah, it's okay.
Perfect.
Well, which event was it? The Maker European one or the funding one?
First of all, perhaps the Let's Talk About Make event.
Okay, cool. Well, it's not me organizing it, but I work with the ones who do, so I can shortly introduce it. But it was originally planned to be showing the Maker movie, and it's going to be a full day event. No, not full evening event with Ebba Kierkegaard from Stockholm Makerspace, and me, who will be speaking, and one more that I'm not sure who it is. I haven't checked it. So I don't think they're going to be showing the movie anymore because they couldn't get a hold of it. But yeah, that's about it.
Which was the movie that you were after? Was it Print the Legend or Jens's film?
I don't think it was either. If it was, she hasn't mentioned the name before.
Okay.
But, yeah.
If it's Jens's film, just let me know. I can show you how to get that. It's publicly available.
No, I found it on YouTube as well.
Oh, super. No problem. Great stuff. So I think we have a lot of great events happening in the Nordics this week. So yeah, everyone keep us posted. Keep the Facebook group populated with news and updates, so we can all see what's going on. So Senna, we've just had a kind of a round trip around the Nordics of people introducing their labs and what they're up to. So you're involved in 2 different Fab Labs. Do you want to tell us a little bit about those?
Well, I'm involved in 3 different makerspaces, but one of them is a Fab Lab.
Okay, great.
I just turned it into a Fab Lab, so it's a very underqualified Fab Lab as of yet. The one I work at, mainly, like the one I'm running, like 1 month before we opened, we got the news that the whole department was getting closed down. So we knew it was going to get closed down. We were fighting for it not to, but we lost. And my boss was fired with immediate effect 2 weeks ago. So that's not happening. On the other hand, we have the 2 other makerspaces that I'm involved with. Neither of them I work at, but both of them I volunteer at. Which is Lunds Öppna Verkstad, which I'm trying to encourage to become a Fab Lab. And then we have Fabriken, which is the one which we were hosting this event. And that one I have turned into a Fab Lab, but we're still working on getting it fully into the network and fully understanding what Fab Labs are. There's a bunch of beeping noises.
So a time of transition.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, and the other one is also going to be coming on. And we are going to be starting another lab because we've applied for a lot of money. Now we just need to find the legalities, settle it.
Great stuff. So on that note about applying for lots of money, do you have any update about the funding for the Nordic labs? I know you were gathering information from people and rallying the troops. How is that all going?
Well, it looks great. You got lots of responses, and so the first application I was looking to make is called Handmade, and if you read my text, you know all about it. But basically, Handmade, and my thought process around it was that if each lab can couple up with one more traditional space in the vicinity, and then exchange information. I was really stressed for this meeting, so I left my notes somewhere else. But then we can then go together and share and exchange that. I'm not going to be incorporating the exchange program that we've been wanting to do in this specific application because there's plenty of other applications one can make that specifically for that. So the funding is only around 500,000 Danish crowns. So split up between us, I think it'll even out and become around 50,000 per lab. But that could also potentially go to covering the costs of everyone gathering up for the Nordic Fab Lab meeting. We can talk about how we want to do that. So that's the basis of it. Then I need to check that everyone would be interested in this. And I also wanted to ask if it would be okay that we can write it in that I project coordinate it, and thus part of the budget would go to salary for project coordination. But
Sorry,
that's
can you
something
repeat?
I wanted to check. If we write it in that I become project coordinator, or someone else, but we have to decide that. It could also be Christian, who I'm going to be working on with the application. But in general, for every project, you need one project coordinator, at least, who will facilitate the projects. And then they get their pay covered by the project as well. But in the end, all in all, it would leave around 50,000 for each lab, I think, if I remember the math correctly. But that would be the first application I would like to make. And there's multiple other applications, but I haven't looked into the specifics of those. There's also a pre-application thing one can make to research that.
Okay, great. And the first application you want to make was Handmade.
Kulturfonden, I think, Danish organization, but works with all of the Nordic countries. So you need to be at least 3 countries to be able to partake in the application. We are 4 countries altogether. No, wait. It's Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Iceland. 5 countries. But I need to double check with everyone. I'll have to get onto that. But we are starting a company right now. So that company is being registered this week. So I can only start making the application. Or I can only send it in once the company's been started. So I can send it in the name of the company. It's a non-profit.
Sure. Okay, so you'll be in touch with folks by email, I suppose, and that's the next step really to fire off those applications. And is there anything you need from everyone else, or have you been getting the information you need?
I think I haven't started writing everything yet because we're closing down the lab this week pretty much. So I'm kind of busy with closing down the lab. But I'll start writing the week after this week is what it's looking like. So I'll get back to you guys. But that's the basic outline of what I was thinking that it would be about. Just if you guys want to tweak it,
great.
or if you're like, we want this kind of focus, or if you guys think we should iterate in some way, or if we should include a platform, online platform, so just let me know.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah. So just be in touch if there's anything you need. I'm sure everyone will be willing to help you out and give the information that you need. So yeah, just please reach out to us. Super.
What do you guys feel about deciding who's going to be the project coordinator?
I would vote you.
You would? Well, that's great for me.
I'll vote as well. You've got two. Maybe we need we can add this to the agenda as well in the next Nordic Fab Labs meeting, where hopefully we'll have a few more participants as well, which will be at the normal scheduled time. So I'll just make a note of that here. Great, and then we can all decide. But I'm sure you'll be a fine candidate for the role. So moving on to the last part, I think we're a little bit late starting, so we've got a couple of minutes to go. So on to announcements. So first of all, just to highlight that the next Nordic Fab Labs meeting happens on Monday the 20th of June, and that's the usual time of 10 o'clock UTC, or Greenwich Mean Time. That's going to be hosted by me again. Yippee! So thank you. So I will send out the usual reminders and Facebook groups and so on. I think that's a good format to kind of send out the information beforehand. Taking Thornton's fine example as well. So that's the next Nordic Fab Labs meeting. Please rally other people together as well in your respective countries, and we'll try and have a big meeting again. And then, as I already mentioned, so next week, Monday and Tuesday, I have Paul Sohi, who's he's basically the European expert on Fusion 360 from Autodesk. He's going to be in our lab giving workshops and tutorials on Fusion 360 and hands-on help. So if anyone's interested, we'll put up I think we'll put up a webcast of that, and I can let everyone know when and how to join. Also, if you happen to be available, you can come over to the lab and get some hands-on help with Fusion 360. As I said, I've been using it a massive amount the last month, and it's really improved my workflow, particularly for CNC. So we're going to be having fun with that next week. Welcome to join. Any more announcements to the floor?
No, I'm just curious, like if we can see any questions. I don't even know how it works here on Google Air.
I think that was on group chat. That's the questions.
You know, if someone is following this, you know, and has questions.
Or you could look at.
But we're doing this for the first time. We should maybe mention, so we're learning a little bit.
So I'm looking.
Because it's
I'm looking onto the page, the broadcast page. I can see my own face, which is a bit strange.
Yeah.
But I don't see any more comments. So,
okay.
but I can see Pilia has just sent a heart, I think.
Well, at least Jenna said she has to go and said a heart.
Okay.
But that's
beautiful.
Oh wait, I've just seen. Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, there's somebody. Oh,
There was another
Now
there was another chat window afterwards.
Yeah, because you initiated. So is that Pillar? Is that somebody in the group chat, or is that?
Yeah.
Right. So that's not an outside. That's someone who's not on the group chat. So we'd need someone who's not on the group chat to type something and see where that comes.
Okay.
I don't know if you.
Yeah.
So let's press the one.
Yeah, I think what Senna was talking about was something general now. We will have another meeting, like where we can go in more details and discuss it further, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. And really sorry to hear about Senna's lab being run down, but she'll get the new ones.
Yeah, of course.
It sounds like she's being very active, and I think there's a lot of interest in Sweden, these kind of spaces. So.
Yeah, and it's important, you know, when things don't work out, that you also share that. We have run into walls here in Iceland, you know. We have one lab that was not so successful, unfortunately, and they had to close. But you know, we learn a lot from it, and we are happy to share it with everyone who is setting up labs, you know, if they need any information on it.
Precisely, and I think also, you know, Yanni, I think Jussi could learn a lot from you. He's probably half a year behind your schedule in terms of setting up a lab. So I don't know, has he been in touch very much? But
we were in touch earlier, not that much lately, but I think he's doing well.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's, as Thornton was saying, it's good to mention also the bits that don't go so well to try and help others avoid these pitfalls. I guess that's part of the document what you do and share it out with everyone else mentality that we have.
This since we got to the Jenna and funding, Torbjörn in Oslo has made another model of funding. So if you have checked the paper of Fab 10 about funding models and business models of Fab Labs, you know how it goes from public money or education related to the private side. So he has a huge private project he's doing, and he's using that to fund the internship. So we agreed that I will send one of my students there next August or in autumn. So that's really cool. Young guy being that active.
I'm not sure if that's entirely correct, but I know the people in Fab Lab London, the managers there, and I think Fab Lab London is entirely private. I'm not sure, so that's probably quite an interesting model. And they're in the middle of, I don't know if you've been, but they're in the middle of the city of London, and it's quite an interesting setup because I don't think they get sponsored and they have deals with things like Ultimaker, so I don't think they have anything to do with education funding or anything like that so much. I think it's more private, so it's quite an interesting model as well. So it's based on things like startups and that sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting models out there and diversity amongst the different labs. So I think there's a lot of actually academics looking at how Fab Labs are kind of organizing and diverging and converging, and yeah, this space is actually really interesting in terms of organization and network kind of life cycle, I suppose, network life cycle. So I think we should move towards closing for this meeting. Does anyone have any more announcements or anything else to bring up before we say goodbyes?
No, I just would like to say goodbye.
Excellent.
I've really enjoyed the
Someone's hungry.
meeting. I'm very happy we managed to make this live, and I hope we can do more of that in the future. Because it's all about like being openness and sharing what is going on and just like trying new approaches to make stuff.
Great stuff. Well, thank you all for making it, and for those who I hadn't met before, it was great to meet you and hear what you're up to. For those that I have met before, it was great to see you again and hear what's going on. So yeah, if you can make it, tune in on Wednesday for Jens's documentary, Making Living Sharing, and we should have some dialogue with Jens afterwards, questions and answers shared between the Nordic network, so we can catch up again on Wednesday. So, thank you everyone.
Thanks, guys.
I guess the tradition is to unmute and just wave and say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.